All right, it's another episode of the Pin High Podcast presented by Golficity. We've got a jam-packed show with the return of the PGA Tour at Colonial, and we'll be talking to Action Network writer and host of the Action Network Sports Betting Podcast, Jason Sobel, for a great interview with him, just previewing all the sports betting information you need to know going into this week. We're previewing some of the news going into the tournament, going through our DFS picks, taking tournament questions from you guys in the Facebook group, and introducing a new betting segment while also continuing and capping it off with birdies and bogeys of the week. Well, let's get into it. All right, it's episode 32.
Blake
Griffin. Let's go. Blake Griffin.
Wait, does he even wear number 32 anymore?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he still does.
No,
I just remember.
I think he wears 23.
He wears 23 now.
Well, Clipper. I'll always remember him as 32.
I mean, 32 could be Shaq.
Fine. The Shaquille O'Neal episode.
Wasn't Shaq 34?
With the Lakers, but 32 with the Magic.
Either way, we're here to talk about golf, not basketball. One of the biggest weeks in golf since, I don't know, like early March, pretty much since the players got canceled after Thursday, after that absolute nightmare of a day where they allowed fans for some reason. But yeah, we're finally back, and yeah, there's. Oh, I didn't even see this. What did you put in that? There's 8,000 fans allowed.
There's 8,000 fans, no bleachers allowed.
Wait, really?
That is something
I didn't see
did not know.
I literally just saw a couple minutes ago, but it was
That must be breaking news.
Well, they're allowed 25% capacity at most.
They weren't having
Texas,
But
they're allowing 25% capacity.
But didn't they say they're
No,
not doing
they're
that?
saying they're not doing fans. They're allowed to have 8,000, but they said no fans, but players will be mic'd
They're
up.
allowed
I
to
don't
do
know.
the
maximum
25%
of 8,000 fans.
It says there's no fans. They're saying they're micing up players though.
That'd be so cool.
Either way, there's
Would you rather have fans or the players mic'd up? If you had to
Players
have one or
mic'd
the
up.
other.
players mic'd up.
Yeah, easy.
Right.
So the groups are looking great. Rory, Rahm, and Koepka, 1, 2, and 3 in the world, playing in a group. Spieth, JT, and Ricky playing in a group. The Spring Break boys.
We're Smiley at.
Yeah, Smiley's will not be accompanying them, I'm assuming, unless he's staying in their hotel room with them. But
Probably
people
is.
sleep. He has a PGA Tour event win, so he's a millionaire, so looks on us. Bryson, Justin Rose, DJ, Woodland, Phil. That's the field's absolutely stacked, and it's just it's gonna be so much fun to watch. I feel like everywhere it's gonna be like the players almost like a major.
I was gonna say this feels like a major, literally the future groups, or as close as majors can get. Future group, the anticipation of watching something important on TV.
Yeah, no, even the prop bets.
Because usually it's we get to the majors and we actually care a little more about watching golf than the tournaments like the Charles Schwab. But now that's the Charles Schwab's the first one back in 3 months. And now it's such much more of a bigger deal. It feels like it's a major, which I love it. I think it's so cool.
Right.
I'll watch every single day, which I normally wouldn't.
Yeah, usually the Charles Schwab Challenge, I'm not exactly tuned in for the whole thing. I mean, I will obviously watch because I'd probably bet on it. But we're still missing Tiger, so we're not all the way back. We're also missing Adam Scott, as we mentioned last week. Patrick Cantlay's a big name. Tommy Fleetwood, I mean, I can see that because it's European players, it's international players in general. It's hard to get over. Hideki Matsuyama as well. But all in all, it is a really, really good field. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Honestly, you said like European players. Like I'm surprised Rahm is playing. Like I or Justin Rose. I forgot. Like I feel like those guys live in Florida, but like
I think Rahm was in Arizona.
Like Rahm was on. Yeah. Rahm was on the. He was on driving relief. He was talking to him driving relief, whatever.
Yeah.
And he said like, he had to go back to Europe and like take care of his like family kind of.
I think he was in Arizona, and he just didn't want to travel from Arizona to Florida. The other four were just like in Florida, so it didn't make sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Right. And what was I going to say? Something about. Oh, right. So Ohio's letting fans into the Memorial, which I guess the Charles Schwab might be as well. But like Ohio's letting the full field, full all the fans. But now they're also hosting like 2 tournaments instead of like back to back instead of the John Deere. What do you think of that? 2 back-to-back tournaments in the same course.
Makes sense.
I think it could be cool. They should make it they should make it one big tournament. Like
8 rounds.
An 8-day tournament.
8-day tournament. Like that after the first weekend, you get sent home if you don't make the cut.
That would be wild.
That would be very wild.
That would be wild, but like, I feel like TV would not like do because like the first 4 days you'd be like, all right, who cares? Like it's like they're not gonna.
They would never do that. They would never do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
It would.
I don't know.
They can make it they could make it like an amateur tournament or something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
They're gonna have to really, if they do 2 straight PGA Tour events, they're gonna have to like switch up pin locations to.
Time.
Definitely. I mean, they probably won't have a problem with that.
No, they won't.
No, you wouldn't expect them to, but it's just like guys are gonna get dialed in there.
But the question is the field going to stay the same both weeks, or are guys going to play 1 week? I bet a lot of guys are going to play 1 week or the other. They're not going to play both weeks, unless like you're like a lower, like the big names are not going to play both weeks.
I mean, I wonder what that how much of an advantage you get.
The Nick Watneys of the world will play.
Both
back weeks at the Memorial or wherever, at whatever tournament it is at Muirfield Village or whatever. But obviously you won't see like JT playing both weeks. I wouldn't assume. You never know. No. Maybe he just loves that course.
There's no reason to
rake up some money.
Both weeks. I bet if the PGA Tour does that, they split up. Like they even like ask some players to come 1 week and some players to come the other week or something like that. Split the field. Like they split it up, which split the field a little bit. It's like it's not just like Rory, Koepka, and JT and Tiger and all in 1 week. It's like Rory and JT go 1 week and then Tiger goes the next week.
Yeah, I don't know if they have much control over that, over who wants.
No, they might not, but like they might like. I mean, I have no idea. We already know what to expect.
I mean, we've never really seen this before.
Not really something dealt with before. Yeah.
So I guess we can kind of dive into the course at Colonial Country Club. So it's a par 70, which is kind of weird. I feel like that's pretty rare on tour, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a shorter course, par 70.
It's a shorter course, 7,200 yards.
Yeah, 7,200.
I actually saw it. I don't know if you guys saw it yet. I mean, it just came out yesterday. GM Golf did one of their Sunday matches there just a couple of days ago.
I did see that with Micah.
Yeah, it's Garrett and Micah, and they're just like YouTubers for golf YouTubers for the people who don't know who they are, and they played the front 9 at for the first Sunday match at the Colonial Country Club, and it was so narrow. It was just like a bunch of dog legs right and left, and it's gonna be interesting because like I wouldn't imagine like the winning score will be like it won't be like 7 under, but I don't think it'll reach like 20.
Oh well, yeah, especially first week back.
I saw the over under at like winning scores like 16.5 or 15.5 under par. Pretty sure.
I would say that's about accurate.
Honestly, I'd probably, considering all these guys haven't played in tournament in so long, I feel like going under would probably be or over the win. Like I bet the winning score is probably like around 12 under.
Here's the thing.
If I had to guess.
I don't know about that because, like Jason Sobel said in our interview later, not to really spoil anything, but there's guys like like Rory McIlroy that don't play these courses, and like maybe they just end up absolutely like loving them.
Yes, true.
Loving it.
They could tear him up.
Could.
Yeah. So you don't really know. It'll be interesting to see next week at Harbour Town as well, because like that's a course that doesn't get much play from a bunch of good guys other than like Dustin Johnson. But yeah,
defending champ, Kevin Na, defending champ last year. You could probably take a guess who finished second. Tony Finau finished second in like every tournament last year.
I saw that. I saw that. I immediately started laughing. I'm like, of course. Like, of course he finished second.
So Trevor goes, guess who came
this year is Victor Hovland's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, it is probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
This morning, Trevor goes, oh, guess who came in second last year? And first actually popped to my mind was Ches Reavie. But
our guy.
Then he said Tony Finau. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
He came second in like 3 straight tournaments. Other notables who played well last year. Jordan Spieth was like in the top 10, so played pretty well there. Plays. He actually does usually play well at this course. So
I mean, he's the only player under 30 in the past 10 years to win it. He won it when he was 22. Like the veterans are the guys who really play well here. Like the average age of the past 5 is 31.
You mentioned before Nick Watney. He actually finished top 10 last year as well. So
he's T6 or something, right?
T8, yeah.
Yeah, so. T6. Yeah.
So not bad. As I said, a lot of dog legs. It's honestly a short hitters course. We'll obviously get more into it in the. I mean, also though Tony Finau, who's a he's a big bomber of the ball. That's what I'm obviously seeing a lot from a lot of like the articles and stuff I've seen this week and from the research I've done. It's like kind of a toss up on this course. Short hitters do well, but like.
Well, yeah, short hitters play well. There's pretty small greens at this golf course, so everything's kind of tight. So putting's actually not that huge this week, believe it or not.
Iron play's a big one.
Yeah, it's all about iron play, ball striking. I mean, like I said, we'll get more into it in the interview coming up.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to throw it over to the Jason Sobel interview? I mean, we're talking about all of this and that, and I think you guys are gonna really like that.
And Jason's first talk
about DraftKings first.
Right. All right. So we're partnering with DraftKings. The PGA Tour is back. We have a full weekend of golf ahead of us, and even though the trophy is reserved for the winner, the big cash prizes don't have to be. And to add to the excitement, DraftKings, which is the official daily fantasy game of the PGA Tour, is putting you in the center of the action with a free shot at a $1 million top prize with your first deposit. $1 million when you're in the business of making money. Not too shabby. It's easy to play.
Not bad.
You just pick six golfers. You stay under the salary cap. I'm not a big math guy, but it does it for you. And you submit your lineup before the tournament tees off on Sunday morning. I think it's like 6 a.m. And you sit back, watch the golf tournament, watch the money roll in. So the more red numbers on the leaderboard, the more guys go under par, the closer you'll be to winning some money. You rack up points for pars, birdies, finishing position, all that. It doesn't get any closer to a major than this week, with all the heavy hitters taking the course and $1 million up for grabs at DraftKings. So what you got to do, you got to download the DraftKings app, which I'm sure if you're listening to this, you probably have it. Use promo code PIP20 to get a free shot at the $1 million prize with your first deposit. It's promo code PIP20 to get a free shot at $1 million with your first deposit only at DraftKings. If you don't want to break the bank, it can be $5 at least. But requires a 25-time playthrough. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Let's swing it over to Jason Sobel. So we're joined here by Jason Sobel of the Action Network to preview some long-awaited golf betting. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. It's great to finally get some PGA Tour action back for some gambling, some DFS, everything.
I can't wait. I spoke with a few players earlier today, and I know they're excited about it. I feel like I'm as excited, if not more excited, than they are to get back to work. So, I mean, it's nice to finally have a little sense of normalcy. I think it's a good thing to, kind of open up sports a little bit. And at some point, hey, we got to get back to to feeling the way we did before. So hopefully it's the right move, and hopefully it's a way to provide some entertainment for everybody else out there that needs some right now.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
You said you talked to some of the players. Do you have a good feel for, I know obviously there's been a long break tournament play of who's been out there playing and like who kind of hasn't?
I think it's going to be really interesting. I think there's 3 different reasons why this is as hard a field to handicap as I've seen in an awful long time. I mean, golf handicapping is not easy in the first place. You want to sit there and try to pick a winner out of 150 players, and you're going to be wrong a whole lot more than you're going to be right. So let's get that out of the way first of all. But the second part of this is we don't know who's in form. I mean, even if you hear story, I've heard, okay, this guy's playing really well. He won a match against a couple other guys a few weeks ago, and this guy played a couple like little mini tour starts to just ramp up a little bit, and he was doing well. But none of that necessarily translates when they're not playing PGA Tour competitive events, which they really haven't been. I mean, I think it's going to be 98 days in between the first round of the canceled Players Championship and the first round of Charles Schwab this week. So the first thing is we really have no idea who's in form and who's not. The second part of this is the fact that this is a golf course that really doesn't lend itself to figuring out who's going to play well there. I mean, it's a shorter golf course, and so we've seen some short, accurate hitters over the years win here. Kevin Na last year, Kevin Kisner a few years ago, Zach Johnson's won a couple of times, David Tom, Steve Stricker. I mean, these are all guys who are not known for their driving prowess off the tee, and yet guys who can get it around at this golf course and win. And yet, over the last few years, we've seen Tony Finau and Brooks Koepka in second place. So you can be a bomber and you can play well at this course. So I think the combination of the fact that, first of all, we have no idea who's playing well right now, and secondly, it's just a hard course to figure out because I think it levels the playing field a little bit, and you have everybody sort of at least as part of the conversation of who can be on the leaderboard come Sunday afternoon. I think this is a really tough week to try to figure things out.
Right, and you mentioned Brooks Koepka. Both him and Spieth are 2 names that I've seen a lot this week in the storylines. How do you think the break for those guys? I know Brooks is coming off the injury, and Spieth is just kind of, been in a bit of a funk for the past however many, like 24 months. How do you think the break is going to affect them?
It probably helps each of them as much, if not more, than just about anybody else out there. Koepka needed to get over some injuries. I'm not ready to jump on Koepka yet this week. I mean, for the sole reason, I mean, this is what we know about Koepka, and we have known for a long time. Well, he wants to play well at the big events, and we're not reaching the big events yet. I mean, it's like these guys, and Tiger said it for years, they want to peak 4 times a year, and then in February, we're like, well, so-and-so's not playing well. Well, it's not one of those 4 times, so why should they be playing well? They shouldn't be peaking too early. And so I think Koepka wants to save a little something in the tank for the second half of the year, so I don't expect him to get off to a great start. And you're right about that, Trevor. It's a chance for Koepka to sort of get his legs under him, get a couple of reps, as opposed to some of the guys who are coming in fresh and really want to go out there and they're prepared to play well. Spieth, I'm not sure, and I was thinking about this earlier. I'm not sure this break has helped anybody more than it's helped Spieth. I think he's probably needed a little bit of a reset, a recharge, a refresh, whatever you want to say. And I'm sure he got it with being able to sit out for a little bit, maybe just sit back and relax and kind of get his game back into shape. So I'm sort of softly, kind of cautiously optimistic on Spieth. I'm still bullish long-term, which I think a lot of people are, and I think a lot of people are jumping off the Spieth bandwagon. I still like him long-term. Very cautiously optimistic here, but he's played really well at Colonial. 7 career starts. He's never missed a cut. 6 of those results better than 14th place, and he's the second all-time leading money winner already at this tournament. This tournament's been around for a long time. Granted, the money is more now than it used to be not that long ago. So, but still, it's very impressive that Jordan Spieth in his 20s is the second leading money winner all time at this one.
That's wild. I know that. I know he won, but I know he was like that good at Colonial. I knew it was like Texas and everything like that.
I mean, also looking at the field this week is like a lot better than it would be in the past, just based off of like the fact that there hasn't been golf for a while. So like a lot of the big players are playing this event this week.
It's a great point. Yeah, Greg, it's absolutely. I mean, the fact that, first of all, not only are a lot of the big names playing, but a lot of the big names who haven't played here before. So I don't know. The Colonial might set up really well for Rory McIlroy. It might fit his eye. It might be the absolute perfect golf course for him, but he's never played there, at least not in competition. No, and so we have absolutely no idea if, Rory might come into this one and go, dude, this place is awesome. I'm going to shoot 62 here every single time I show up, and he's going to win this thing by 10. Or he might get out there and go, man, I like the golf course, but I'm never coming back to this place because this just does not suit my game. Knowing Rory, I mean, he is a ball striker. I think we tend to overvalue this. This used to happen, at least for me, back with Tiger, back in the day when he would show up a quote unquote ball strikers course, and it sort of takes the big stick out of his hands a little bit and takes away his advantage a little bit when he could hit it longer than anybody else. We say, well, it's probably the shorter guys have a little bit of an advantage. I see it for Rory's sake where, okay, you take away that advantage of being able to put driver in his hands a lot, but guess what? Him hitting like a 2 or a 3 iron off the tee every time and being able to pummel it down the fairway, it's not exactly like that's a disadvantage for Rory either.
Yeah, and Ricky is actually another guy I was looking at this week that he's played here in the past, but he hasn't he played more like in the beginning of his career. But I think it's another one of those situations like you mentioned where like even though they don't play it a lot, like we don't know if they are going to love it or if they're just going to move it along and they're only playing because it's the first tournament of since quarantine.
Yeah, that's a great point there, Patrick. I'm not sure how many of these guys. I mean, if you had said, hey, we've been playing golf for a month and a half already. We came back 6 weeks ago. How many of these guys are coming because they really like the golf course, they like the event, and they feel like they have a chance to contend? Or how many guys are coming just because it's the first one and I just want to get back out doing something. I want to get out of the house. I want to go somewhere. I want to get on a plane. And I think that a large part to handicapping this week is figuring out which guys are there just to get in some reps, just to play a little golf, just get out of the house, and which guys are there saying, hey, I've been at home striking it really well, and I can't wait to get to a tournament because I feel like I can win right now just based on how I'm playing against my buddies back at my home club. So I'm not sure about Ricky. He's one that I just finished writing my preview for this week. I didn't even mention his name. Don't love him right now, but again, there's not a whole lot that would surprise me this week. There are a lot of guys in the mix who I think could obviously go out and play well just based on the fact that, again, we just don't know. And, I hate the fact that I'm on here saying like, man, I don't know about this guy. I don't know about that guy. But, ask me again in a month after everyone's got their legs under them a little bit and we've seen some form and we've seen who's trending in the right direction. I'll be able to give you some better ideas. But right now, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be a really difficult week. And I guess if you're betting, if you're playing fantasy, if you're doing DFS, I guess the best thing I can tell you is, first of all, differentiate yourself because if you're hearing a lot of people are saying Koepka and Ricky and Spieth, my best advice is get away from Koepka and Ricky and Spieth and go find guys that you like, that you think other people don't like. And the second piece of advice is probably not to listen to a whole lot of other advice out there. If you've got a hunch on a couple of players that you like, go for it, enjoy it, try to go after it and go get it. I've got a few guys that I like this week that I wrote about in my column, but this is one where I think that there's less of an edge for those who are sort of in the know. I haven't been, even though I've spoken with a handful of players, I haven't been around players. I haven't been to a tournament since that first round of the Players 3 months ago. So I am not any more in the know right now than anybody else is.
Right. And as for betting, matchups in this tournament, is there anyone you're kind of looking to either kind of ride with or, expose in in the way that, like, I remember, earlier in the season, I would try to bet against Francesco Molinari in tournament matchups or something like that. Is there anyone like that in this field for you?
I don't have a great one. I don't think. My favorite fade for the week is Dustin Johnson. Even that one scares me just a little bit. You look at futures, and DJ is 16-1 to win the Masters this year, 5 months from now. Guess what? He's 40-1 to win at Colonial this week in a field that won't wind up being nearly as good as the Masters field. So it feels a little strange. I'm suggesting we fade DJ with that kind of number in front of him. But I just, we watched him at the TaylorMade event, didn't really seem too into that. I can't imagine that he's ramping up over the last couple of weeks and is playing really good golf and is really motivated to go out and play very well. So he's a guy that I'm looking to play against. Some of the guys that I really like, Kevin Kisner won here in 2017. I look at Kiz as kind of like the thoroughbred who's, stomping his hooves in the gate and can't wait to for that starting gate to open up and just start racing from the starting line. I think he's a guy who probably likes playing golf more than most other players. And don't get me wrong, they all to an extent like golf, but some guys enjoy their career. I'll put it that way, more than others. And I think Kisner's a guy who really likes going out there and playing in events, being competitive. So he's a guy that I really like. I spoke with Ryan Palmer from my podcast on the Action Network earlier today, and Ryan gave me about 10 different reasons for why we should pick him this week, including the fact that he's a member at Colonial, plays there all the time. He was 6th last year. He's in really good form. He shot 64 this past Friday with a bogey on the last hole. He's more accustomed to playing Colonial sort of in a natural state with no fans, no bleachers, no corporate tents, and he's not going to have the usual sort of, I don't know if it's pressure or just sort of attention paid towards him. Usually you play in your hometown event and everyone's knocking on your door asking for tickets and bothering you for all sorts of things. He doesn't have to deal with that because, of course, there's no fans. So those are a few of the guys that I like. Colin Morikawa, Joel Damon, Abraham Answer, a little bit bigger name, Webb Simpson, I think. If you're looking to just go after a guy who's in that top echelon, I think Webb look at it. So Webb finished 61st, guys, in his last start, which obviously isn't great. In his 10 starts before that, 1st, 3rd, 10th, 2nd, 7th, 20th, 24th, 18th, 2nd. That any good?
Yeah, and you also kind of put down the idea that shorter hitters play well here, and like Webb Simpson's one of the kind of mid-range shorter hitters, but he has really good short game, really good putting, so like he could fit well this week.
He's
as one of those top
underrated
guys.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at Webb and you look at the results, and I think if I had showed you those results and said pick the player, and I might have done the same thing, you'd say, "Wow, man, that's really good." Is that Rory? I don't know, is that Rahm? Rahm's really good. Is that it's not Koepka who is, and it might take you a while to figure out like that's Webb Simpson with those results next to his name, and yet I don't feel like he gets enough credit that he's probably afforded. So yeah, I like Webb a lot this week as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of those guys that you mentioned, Morikawa, Kisner, Webb, I think something they all have in common is they're all really good putters, and I feel like they're all really good, in gaining strokes, like approaching the green.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to look at ball strikers this week. I think that putting is less exposed on a course like Colonial where there's smaller greens. So you look at some guys who are really strong ball strikers and pretty poor putters comparatively. Guys like Benny On, guys like Corey Connors, guys like Joel Damon, who strike it really well. I think they have an advantage. And it's not just this week, but if we have an advantage as guys who are betting and guys who are playing fantasy, we go to Harbortown next week, which is a very similar course to Colonial. I think there's a great correlation between the two. And so all the work that you're doing, trying to research and figure out which players you like for this week, it'll probably extend over to next week once we see the field as well, because it's really got a lot of similar values at Harbortown that Colonial does.
Yeah, we actually love Harbortown. We ended up playing there last year, so
very cool.
That's one of our favorite courses.
Yeah, I was just about half an hour away from there. I was at Chichesi Creek over the weekend, which is just the coolest hang I've ever had. It's just a a tremendous course, tremendous place to go hang out. We had a little 12-man buddies trip, and I'm still recovering. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, we had a spring break trip. Ours was a spring break trip, and I would say we needed some recovery time after that as well.
At least a week to recover from that. So
good for you guys.
So something we do is before a tournament like this, we take our best bet, and we also pick a winner. And we wanted to hear what you got for your best bet. Kind of like a lock, if you want, if you will. And
there's no locks this week.
Yeah, and what you can screw up, and
as much of a lock as you possibly can get.
Yeah.
So my favorite bet this week, I was going through the DraftKings Sportsbook earlier today. I'm not sure if this is what you mean by best bet, but they always group guys together. And this week, because there's hardly any other sports going on, they're treating it like a major championship, and so there's way more opportunities and options for different bets this week than usual, and so. They've got some guys grouped by country, some guys grouped by college. And I went and saw the low Georgia Tech player. I know this is, we're digging deep here. We're in the weeds looking at some different stuff. But Matt Kuchar is minus 137 to be low Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket. And it's, okay, well, that's, you're giving up the money here. It's, he's a pretty big favorite. But then you look at the other options. One is Andy Ogletree, who won the U.S. Amateur last year. He's still an amateur and hasn't played many, if any, PGA Tour events, so I don't expect too much from him. Chesson Hadley, who's okay, he's a good player, but, again, doesn't really do much for me this week. And Richie Werenski, who I kind of feel about the same way about. That, to me, feels like a slam dunk Matt Kuchar bet at minus 137 as it is right now. So, I really like that one as far as a best bet if you're looking for a good prop this week. And then my winner, I mentioned his name before, but Kevin Kisner. I just love the combination of, first of all, sort of tangible statistics. He should have the right sort of game to go out and contend and win at this golf tournament again. We've seen it in the past. And then the intangibles. And I think there are so many intangibles that will be important this week just based on, coming off a break and who's prepared and who's motivated. And I just feel like he fits all those, ticks off all the boxes, I think, for me as far as the specifics intangibles. So Kisner's my guy this week. I'm sticking with him.
He did get beat by a 4-man scramble, though.
He did.
I knew you were going to point that out.
He was out there striping the ball, though.
He was. Shot 70.
By the way, I play with a lot of pros at my club. If you've got 4 decent players, you should be able to beat one pro in a 4-man scramble.
Yeah, we discussed this last week on the pod. Yeah. We're calling out for a pro. We're trying to play against one now.
Yeah. So one thing I'm actually kind of curious is, what's the best bet you've ever made, or pushed for, in your life? It doesn't have to be just golf, but anything that you've ever been pushing for and it ended up hitting.
God, that's a good question. I know Peter Jennings, my co-host on the Action Network podcast, actually asked the same question on Twitter earlier today or last night, and so
really?
So I've actually been thinking about this, and I still, even with advance notice and even with thinking about this, I'm still not sure I have a great one. I will be honest with you guys that I came to Action Network just a little over 2 years ago, and before that, I was with ESPN and Golf Channel for a long time, and quite frankly, I wasn't allowed to bet. It's a 180 here at the Action Network. We're not only allowed to, we're probably encouraged to. We want to. It's sort of like if you're going to work at a pizza joint, you might as well like pizza because you want to taste it and make sure the customers like it themselves. So, and now I'm sort of encouraged to do it. But for so long, I was not just discouraged, I wasn't allowed to do it. So I don't have a long history of gambling on events. I can't say, well, man, back in 86, I was 11 years old. I had Jack to win the Masters at 30-1 that week, and I crushed it. I don't have it. I don't have a lot. I've hit some outrights over the last few years, but we all have, and it's probably nothing major to write home about. I think that a large part of gambling, as you guys probably know, is just the consistency, like, okay, I'm going to hit some matchups here. I'm going to hit this there. I'm going to get this guy for a top 10, as opposed to just, hey, I'm throwing out dart throws every single week and I'm just nailing long shots and winning big money, which, look, if you can do it, you can swing it, more power to you. I love it. But, I'm just trying to keep my head above water when especially when it's as difficult as it is this week. And I think it's going to be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's about all we got. Thanks for joining us. It was great to talk to you about all this. Hopefully it's a little bit more predictable next week and the next few weeks than it is this week.
Yeah, it's going to be fun no matter what. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yep.
Can't wait for some golf to be back. Mm-hmm. It's good to get some sense of normalcy. It's good to have something back on the TV to watch, and it's good to be able to follow and bet on these guys once again.
All right. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you so much.
Take care.
All right. Great interview with Jason Sobel there. We're going to continue that kind of momentum with betting, and then we'll get into DFS for all you guys that are interested in that as well, or only that. So we're introducing a new betting segment this week that is, pretty simple. We're just going to go with our best bet, basically our lock of the week.
There's no locks this week.
Yeah,
as mentioned earlier.
As Jason said, there's about as little from it's about as hard to find a lock as possible for this week of all weeks.
Whichever. His pick was very solid. Didn't think to look.
It did.
Yeah.
The Kisner pick?
It made sense.
No. Yeah. The lock of the week picking Kuchar.
Yeah. Matt Kuchar,
that was
low
a find and a half.
He said that, and he was saying the players after. I'm like, oh my god,
it's like why is he only minus 130?
Yeah, 130.
Yeah, right.
137. Yeah, I'm like that's wild.
Yeah, if they have that on Bovada, dude, I think
they got it on DraftKings Sportsbook.
Mm-hmm.
We got to make a trip down to New Jersey then.
Yeah, for the weekend.
You want to go to the shore?
Yeah. We could hit up the I guess that's a FanDuel Sportsbook.
I'll be driving through New Jersey.
Just sit at the MetLife Stadium parking
lot.
Who
says
tailgate.
No to some Jersey Shore this week? Anyway. So yeah, and then we're following that with who we think is going to win the tournament. I guess we could probably. You guys want to keep track of this and I don't know, winner gets something. I don't really know.
We could try
records.
Yeah.
So we'll keep our record of our best bets,
and then if you get
and whoever has the most winners, which I'm assuming we won't have a ton of winners.
Winners is going to be
winners is a tough.
It should be like a point system.
If you get a winner, if you get a winner. Yeah, point system.
You get 1 point. You get 1 point if you get your best bet right, and then you get 5 points if you get the winner.
That's perfect.
And then you just tally it at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And what does the winner get?
I don't know.
We'll come up with that.
We'll throw that over to the followers.
Yeah. All right. So I think I'll start. My best bet. Let me pull it up. It's Matt Kuchar. So going back to Matt Kuchar, shout out Georgia Tech, in the tournament matchup over Matt Fitzpatrick. I know Jason Sobel said his fade of the week was DJ. I kind of agree with that, but I'm going with Matt Fitzpatrick as a kind of like a fade. I'm kind of trying to expose him. I don't know if it's the most, because it is hard to say who's going to do well, who's not this week.
It is, yeah.
But I do think Matt Kuchar is going to play very well this week. And I don't think Matt Fitzpatrick, from what I saw in the foreplay interview, was able to play all that much golf over in England. So other than hitting into a net, I think occasionally. So I think I'm going with Matt Kuchar in this one, and I'm going to throw it down as a lock.
Okay. I don't think there's any legit locks this week. It's
a lock, can be picked, but it's not easy to pick.
I'm also going to stick with the tournament matchup. I had another idea, but I decided against it. And I'm going to go with Kevin Kisner minus 120 against Bubba Watson. I feel like Bubba Watson's just game this week doesn't play as well as Kevin Kisner would.
Here's the thing. He's a shot shaper.
He is a shot shaper with the dog legs. But I still just think Kevin Kisner, you even heard Jason say it in the interview earlier, Kisner was his guy. I think Kisner minus 120 over Bubba Watson in a tournament matchup is decent pick this week, I would hope.
Sure.
All right, so my lock. It's not a player matchup. One, because I can't find the player matchups. Two, but I found earlier. Past it, I'm going to go Matt Kuchar, top 10 finish at plus 400. He's played. He's been like top 10 like 4 times in the last like 10 years or something like that. Like he's a regular here. He plays well at this course. He plays well at Harbour Town and very similar courses. I think top 10's a pretty good bet.
So got a lot of money on Kuchar this week. Matt Kuchar, top
Kuchar.
Kuchar. Oh wow, we're confident in Kuchar.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna go with my winner. It seemed like Jason didn't really love the pick, but I loved the way Ricky was just like dialed in at Seminole with his like.
He was dialed in. I thought about that. He
didn't really need to drive the ball, which you don't hear, and his putting was like, it was serviceable. Like it was pretty good at times. And his wedge game and his like iron game was just so locked in, which I think is gonna be so important this week. So I don't know. I think Ricky's a good. He's plus 2,800, which is
he's like one of those. Bucks, he fits in the category of the guys that kind of like win this tournament too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not the longest hitter in the world, so
I'm pretty confident in it.
My winner this week, I'm kind of gonna go back on our bandwagon from like when the PGA Tour was going on a little bit earlier, and I'm gonna go Sungjae Im. I think on DraftKings Sportsbook he's plus 3,500, so that's some pretty good value for Sungjae Im, who was playing lights out before the whole quarantine. Like obviously we don't know what his game's gonna be at coming into this tournament, but. Right. What we do know is he's a good ball striker, and ball strikers usually play well at this tournament. So I'm going to go Sungjae Im, especially with that value right now. And hopefully he can just stay hot, even though he had like a 2-month break.
I'm gonna ride kind of the same thing that Jeek did, and pick the hot hand, even though it was not really kind of hard to pick the hot hand. But I'll go with Colin Morikawa, just because he made out 11 cuts before. I feel like he's kind of due, and this could be one of his tournaments, like where he's like hungry. He's kind of hungry for a win, right out of the gate, because everyone else is kind of like, you don't know what they've been doing. He's probably, I guarantee someone like him is probably like, all right, I need to come out and make a statement here in the first tournament back.
What are his odds at?
Plus 4,000 to win.
Dang.
Okay, just a little like, not honorable mention because like Jason mentioned him. But if you look at the top 5, the top 10, and the top 20 bets on Kevin Kisner, the top 20 is plus 350. Like that's pretty good.
I would take that.
The top 10 is plus 750, and the top 5 is plus 1,600.
Yeah, that's like.
And he's freaking
Kisner top 10
plus 8,000. That's 80 to 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about Kisner top 10 would be a pretty good.
Yeah,
Kisner top 10 would be a really good pick.
Plus 750, yeah, I don't know.
A lot of value. Whatever. As Jason said earlier, like this is the hardest week to handicap golf, just because you just don't know.
Also, here's the thing.
Somebody random could win this week.
Ever.
Even though Kevin Kisner lost to the Four Play Boys in that like dumb scramble, he shot 70 at Pinehurst number 2 from 7,600 yards. He's
was like top 10 course, top 10 hardest course in the world.
I watched that full thing. He like didn't make any putts.
Right, yeah, he did miss a lot of short putts,
which is not like Kevin Kisner.
Right.
So I love that value.
Well, whatever. When Jason described like what kind of golfer wins this tournament, like he literally described Kevin Kisner. So I wasn't surprised when he went with Kevin Kisner.
Striking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good ball striking, and Kevin Kisner's
not a lone hitter, good short
so
game.
Yeah.
I think he consistently through 4 rounds shoots 3 under or better. If he can do that at Pinehurst number 2.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Jeez.
If he can shoot even par.
Obviously he's been playing well. If he's shooting 70, even. I mean, it's not a tournament, obviously, but
he's playing well. He was playing like it was a tournament. He was like locked in and stuff. So, you know.
Something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
What else are we doing here?
Some
We're
fan
moving on to
questions.
DFS here.
Questions.
DFS questions from the Facebook group. All right. So Ken Byron said, like, this is right after I posted this, like, last night. Shout out Ken Byron. He said, "Play or fade Brooks," as in Brooks Koepka. Is he back to his normal self after injury? Will he be motivated? I mean, you heard what Jason said, and I have the same exact thoughts on it.
Same here.
Before I even went into that interview, I don't love Koepka in this tournament.
I wouldn't like totally fade him, but like if you have to play or fade, I would fade him. I just don't think this is the tournament where he's like, I want to win this tournament. I think he's going to come into this tournament and kind of work on things. That's what I see with Koepka, at least.
I think it's kind of a tune-up for him. Exactly. He's I just don't think there's any. One, I don't think he played that much golf over the break just because he's Koepka and probably didn't play a whole lot. I'm sure he's not getting his game ready for right now. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna win this week. Like, he's not gonna do that. He's just kind of tuning up his game. He's still coming back after the injury. I don't think he's motivated at all. To be honest, I think he's just gonna work on things this weekend.
I think it's important also to
he's never played he has played the course.
Check how many people are picking him, because that's a big thing in DraftKings. Like, if everybody has somebody and you have him, like, it doesn't do a lot for you.
Especially,
I would say stay away, because like if they win, like, you're gonna need.
I don't think Koepka's a lock to win like this week.
I know, but what I'm saying is, like, if not that many people have him, then it's worth a flyer to if he does well.
But I think he's overpriced.
I
in
agree.
general.
I
100% agree.
I'm 100%
of the top guys. I think he's probably the worst value of like the top like five, like in those future groups like the Ricky, Justin Thomas, Rory, Rahm. Like, I think he has like the worst like chance of winning.
No, I agree.
If you're gonna pick him, you're gonna pick him to play like top 5, win this week. So right. I mean, I don't think he's gonna do that.
So we also had Matthew Bischoff. Not really sure how to say it.
I think Bischoff.
So he wanted us to discuss Spieth. His ownership is 15% right now, which is pretty high due to course history. He was like, should you fade and hope his ball striking isn't really found yet? I mean, and that's another thing we discussed. But Jordan Spieth is like always going to be a risky pick nowadays until he finally gets back, and I feel like a lot of people are going to pick him because of his course history. So I ultimately think fading him is the right move, because if that many people have him, you got to just hope that he just doesn't have a good week.
So he's valued.
You got to play contrarian when you're playing DraftKings.
Whichever. He's valued at 8,000 this week, which is kind of middle of the pack, middle high. I would say go with another player in that range. So like you got Scotty Scheffler, who's been playing good golf this year, 8.4. Victor Hovland at 7.9.
Cooch is 8.5 right there.
Cooch is 8.5 right there. Kevin Na, who won last year, 7.6. Kisner 7.6, who we've been talking about. I think you just stay away, and like he could play well, but at 15%, you probably, especially this week where you don't really know what's going to happen. I think it's better to just stay away, in my opinion.
I agree. I think is like I think you should stay away from him just because you have no idea what you're going to get from him. You don't know if you're going to get the good Jordan Spieth or the really bad Jordan Spieth. And he's played well here, and like that goes well for him. But you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen this week, pretty much with anyone.
Don't get me wrong. I'm going to root for Jordan Spieth.
Oh
yeah,
course.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not my favorite golfer anymore, but like when he's playing well, he's my favorite golfer.
Yeah,
because like it's so much fun to watch him.
He's awesome to watch, but like there's so many other guys in this tournament, and he's played well here. But if 15% of people have him on DraftKings and he's middle of the pack, like there's so many other better options that are somewhat like I can like you said, like Kuchar, Kisner, Scotty Scheffler, not like more reliable.
And those guys are all way below him. And I think
and just like another thing,
better than him.
To go back to what Jason said, like this week you kind of want to have a diverse lineup. You want to have players from all over the salary ranges, and if people are going to do that and they see Spieth at 8,000, like they'll probably just pick the name that's in that like range.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
like, and I think somebody like I wouldn't be surprised if somebody random wins this week just because of what's happening.
I wouldn't say random, but
like a Kevin Na level,
like someone that you're not expecting
Kisner
to
level,
win.
like
some
not the biggest name in the world to win this.
Yeah, like a Tyrell Hatton, but like he's not in the field, I don't think. But
good, I don't like him.
He could be, honestly. He's kind of irrelevant, so who cares?
Maybe our guy Harry Higgs gets a win this week.
Harry Higgs is in the turn. Yeah.
Brendan Todd at 6'8".
I lined it up as me, Trevor, Jeek. Do we want to go in that order?
Yeah, go ahead.
For our picks.
Yeah.
So for my first DraftKings pick, it's very similar to my winner. It's Ricky. I'm really high on Ricky this week. And I don't think. I mean, he's 9,400. I don't know how high that is up on the rankings, but I feel like it's good value.
That's pretty up there. Yeah.
No, but I'm
high
not,
level. Yeah.
I'm saying it's an upper
Top
level,
10.
but it's not like Rory, who's like
Rory's
so high.
Yeah. I wouldn't pick Rory unless you think he's gonna win.
Picking Rory is like he has to win if you're gonna pick him.
Right, exactly. Trev, go ahead.
All right, so I'll go with my first one. I'll go back to like what I did in my picks too. Matt Kuchar, he's consistent here. He's just steady. He just fits the old guys win here mold. He's kind of like steady, smart golf. Does not the longest hair on tour, and this course kind of fits his mold. So I'll stick with him. He's at 8,500, so it's not too. He's kind of high, but he's not like the upper echelon of players like the rookies and the Schauffele and DJ. Like some of those guys, I feel like they're not going to play that great. So I think Kuchar could definitely make you some money.
Right. Very high on Kuchar this week. A lot of money going on him for us.
Yeah.
Like if Kuchar plays bad, like we might be like have to fold here.
We might be out of a job.
My first pick, I'm gonna go with Justin Rose at 9,000. Kind of a shot in the dark, to be honest. You don't really know what's gonna happen this week, and I think Justin Rose's game plays well too. Like if everybody's rusty, I think his game just kind of plays well. He's a very solid golfer, good ball striker.
He's all around, really.
Yeah, he's just an all around. Like he's good. He's average to good, like or even above average good at everything. So like I think his game fits well to like a long layoff, like better than some other players.
Yeah, and here's the thing:
at 9,000, that's a good salary for him.
For this week, the thing is, it's not a shot in the dark that we're all sending out. It's more just like it's our job to like do educated guesses, pretty much.
Yeah, I think so.
It's an educated guess at this point, which is it's more than you can get doing on your own.
And this week of all weeks is probably harder to make a good guess. If that makes sense. Just because of the unpredictability of what could happen.
Yeah. Okay, so my second pick.
Yeah.
My second pick, I'm gonna go with Joel Damon. Jason mentioned him earlier too. At 7,500, which is not that much. It's kind of like the lower middle tier. He's a good ball striker, not a great putter, but like once again, like games that fit well into good layoffs, being a good ball striker, being able to hit greens in regulation is key this week. And he's kind of in that lower to middle tier where like a lot of people might not pick him. So I feel like just having him on my team, if he plays well, that would bode pretty well for a lineup.
Yep, good pick.
I'll go with Daniel Berger. This is pretty much me just going like a gut feeling, just because. Like as we've said before, it's like we already know what's gonna happen. But I mean, he's solid at everything. Last year has been. But if Daniel Berger's on, like he's on, one of those like top young guys, and he's played well this year. He's like 9 of 11 cuts, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. And so he has a good chance. Like maybe this is like okay, this is a week where he's like, I need to prove myself again this week.
And what's his salary?
7,700.
It's pretty. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, not bad for this caliber, this amount of players, good players. Like, it's not bad at all.
I mean, not that this like totally fits in because like there hasn't been golf for a while, but he's 8 of 9 cuts this year, 3 top 10s.
Yeah, 8 9. So
yeah.
Well, he's playing well this year.
If he knocks you a top 10, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for my last one, we got Kevin Knott, 7,600. And I think a lot of people could have him in their lineups. I think, for good reason. His course history, I mean, it speaks for itself. He won last year. He came in 4th the year before, and he had a top 10 the year before that. And he had strokes. He had gained strokes.
7,600.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so low.
Yeah.
I
there's
realized
a lot of value this week.
Well. Yeah. Ton of value.
He had gained strokes on approach in 5 of his last 6 starts prior to the PGA Tour's stoppage. And again, we don't know if that's going to continue because of the stoppage. But best educated guess is the guy who's came in 4th, top 10. His game fits it to a T.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Yeah. I mean, picking the former winner is usually good. I also forgot to mention that Justin Rose actually won this tournament not that long ago.
A couple years ago.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beat out Koepka, actually, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then one more thing before we move on to our birdie and bogey of the week, I think someone that we've slept on a little bit is Max Homa. I think Max Homa could put together like a top 10 easily in this. He himself, he says like, he's very self-aware. He says stuff about his game. He's like, yeah, it's like whatever. But like, he is one of the best like iron players, specifically like long iron players on the tour.
True.
So, just something to take into consideration.
Just give me a post-run interview with Max Homa. I'll be happy. I just want to see that. That's all I want to hear.
He's hilarious. So let's move on to our birdie and bogey of the week. I'll give Jeek. We'll go with the same order so I can give Jeek a little time.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm kind of searching a little
wasn't
bit.
exactly prepared. So my birdie is that my home course in Cuse, Drumlin's Country Club. It's anything but a country club. I'll tell you that much. It has the 18th, the grittiest, the grittiest 18th finish in golf. It's our second Instagram post on the Pin High account. By the way, we surpassed 100 posts yesterday, I think. So shout out. Mm-hmm. And you literally are, I don't even know how many feet up in the air. You're up on a hill, hitting what seems to be, I think with slope, it's like a 160-yard shot, but it's a hang time of like 7 seconds in the air.
Jesus.
And you have no clue like if it's online or not. Like you know it's online, but you don't know the distance when you're up there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was featured on Tiger Woods' Instagram, which is one of the biggest upsets of all time. I sent that to all my Cuse friends who I play golf with, and they're like, "You're kidding."
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
Of all Instagrams, Tiger Woods.
But here's the thing. The bogey has to do with that. I sent it to one of my friends, and one of the guys, the guy who's swinging on it, was just like kind of, like youngish looking kid who had like a pretty bad swing, and the girl roasted him. And he goes, "Your swing's not that bad." And I go, "What?" And he's like, "That's you, isn't it?" And I'm like, "No, it's not me." Are you kidding? The kid looked nothing like me. He looked like he was like 15. I was like, it's a huge blow to the ego, but yeah.
Oh well.
You're all excited about showing the course you're playing at, and you're like wow, they actually think that I'm not bad.
Instant ricochet shot. So.
Oh well.
All right, so I'll go with mine. My birdie is I shot 71 on Thursday.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Not bad at all.
Is that good?
It's not bad.
Not that bad.
Made five birdies in the round. Chipped in on 17 to get back to even par.
Ooh, was that just like super clutch? Did you have a good fist pump?
Yeah, it was kind of funny because Bruce, my dad, and I were playing. We had a match for our club like we have this like club wide like partner tournament with handicaps.
You just close them out.
And I closed them out with that chip.
Oh really?
Like yeah, it wasn't looking like it was looking like okay, like they were both in the they didn't get any, the two people were playing against didn't get any strokes, and we were both like close. Like my dad was on the green, I was like just off. Like we were like okay, like we're gonna win. Like 'cause they have to like we were 2 up at that point, and then they're like all right, just go ahead and like finish this off or whatever. And I chipped it in. And I'm like oh well that's one way to finish you guys off. So.
I mean, if you shot a 71 and you had to finish them up on 17, they must have been pretty good.
I was about to say that.
I mean, we're giving him 15 strokes.
Oh, you were giving them strokes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it was a fun match. I played best I played all year.
What a performance!
It's pretty deflating when you're like giving strokes to people. Like I noticed that. Like when you're giving strokes and you par a hole and somebody gets like a bogey and you like
I made
draw
birdie.
the hole.
I made birdie on 13 and we lost the hole.
Exactly.
We lost to a birdie for eagle.
Oh my god,
it is deflating.
It's like the 12th handicap hole too. So like,
I'll take all the strokes I could get.
Yeah, but I played great. I have a couple bogeys on us actually. They were like both right to that. One was I had my qualifier on Tuesday, didn't qualify, shot 81, missed it by 3 shots, and I was 6 over going into the last 2 holes. I hit a great shot into the green on 16, and I hit 4 tee shots on hole 17. So I was just after I hit the 4th one, it went like the water. I was like, okay, I was 17? Like about to. Trevor? Yeah.
How?
On 17. I literally pumped the driver into the woods right, pumped a 3-wood into the woods left, then a 3-wood into the woods right, and then hit a 3-iron like just like hit into the water. Like I'm like I was done.
So
at that point.
what was that off the tee?
What was a driver?
No.
Like, what number were you hitting off the tee?
Oh, well, no. The thing was, like, they found my second ball, my first provisional, like 1 foot in bounds, on the left.
Who
but like a lines guy or like a spotter. But if we didn't find her, if it was out of bounds, I would have been hitting my like 9th shot off the tee.
Jesus.
On par 5, and it went in the water, so I'd be hitting my 10th shot from like the
drop zone or
drop
the drop area.
Yeah.
So were you like just absolutely like
gutted? I was just done.
When you were hitting that like 4th shot off the tee, what's going through your mind? Are you just like
I'm literally
put it in play.
I'm trying so hard to be like just like relax, and then meanwhile in my head I'm like fuck this. I want to kill myself like right now. Like I want to walk off the course right now and just like go home. And, I was so done. I mean, I made 7, so like it wasn't terrible. But then I made bogey the next hole. If I hit
one in the fairway,
tee shot in the fairway, and I made par on that hole, I guarantee you I would have parred 18 because I was playing well in the back 9. I would have made the cut.
You missed the cut by 2 strokes.
By 3.
3 strokes. Still, that's.
And those last 3 holes were the difference.
That sucks, dude. That's so bad.
And the other bogey is my putt for 70 on 1 under par on 18 the other day. It was like 10 feet. I hit it short.
Ooh.
Of all putts. Of all putts to leave short.
That's not good.
The guys I was playing with were like, you left that short. I'm like, my dad was mad. He's like, you really left that putt short? I'm like, yeah, I did.
I bet you put it back too and like putted it again.
I made it.
That's.
But so
what's the rest of your schedule? Are you gonna play another tournament this summer?
Yeah, I'm looking to do it a little more. I don't know what I'm doing with work, so I gotta figure that out. But still got I'm looking into like some opens and amateur events, so I'll definitely keep you guys updated with that.
Nice.
All right.
Maybe I'll actually be able to caddy this time.
I know, yeah.
So
one of you two.
We'll see.
The COVID-19 rules didn't let me caddy.
Yeah,
I know.
That's
yeah.
tough.
I feel like if I was there while you like hit like 4 balls in the woods, I would have just been standing there like, oh
Yeah.
it wouldn't have happened if I was there.
You'd be like, what? You'd be like, what the fuck is?
I was like, what's going on?
I would have been like, Trev, take a 7-iron and put it in play.
I don't know. It was just traumatizing. I'll tell you that much. In tournament play in front of 2 other guys who are waiting for you on the tee, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
what do you got?
I have plenty of time.
You have enough time.
My birdie of the week, I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but we're gonna have some mic'd up players this week on the CBS broadcast.
Okay.
Since
birdie.
they're going to a smaller broadcast this week, so actually Jim Nance is gonna be in his own booth, and so is Nick Faldo is gonna be in a different booth. Yeah, so that's gonna be a little interesting. Cool. They're usually next to each other.
Teammate Chem, not on point.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. There's only gonna be a couple people on the course too. But because of that, they're adding microphones to select the future players. We don't know which ones yet, and they'll be like answering questions like on the course within the course of a round. So that's
probably on
nice
like
wrinkle.
Thursday.
If they give the mic to DJ, I swear to God, like that's gonna be so
don't give
so
it to
boring.
a boring. Yeah.
They'll give it to they'll give it to like DJ and like Rory, and Rory will be making like dad jokes the entire time or stupid. They should honestly just give it to Kuchar and Phil.
Yeah, just put them in the same group.
Yeah, Kuchar, Phil.
I think they are in the same group. No,
they're not. Are they? No, it's Nah and Woodland. That's what their group is.
Oh right, okay.
My bogey of the week. I kind of struggled to find a bogey of the week. Not gonna lie. My bogey of the week. I was on like 79 watch, pretty much going into the back 9 last time I played, and then I topped my tee shot twice on 10 and got an 8, and that ruined the round.
On 10?
Yeah, on 10. Going like at the turn.
79
watch
to shooting an 85.
Yeah, to shooting an 85. So yeah, we had a tough back 9. Which whatever. I shot an 81 the round before, so like I was like feeling my game, and then I got to the 10th. Then I got to the 10th tee, and I topped 2 shots, and I was like, all right, I'm done. That's it. Not shooting under 80 today.
That's just golf. You play so sick the front 9, and you just like back 9. You're like,
yeah, I don't know. I striped my driver
here?
like on the hole before, and then like next hole I like couldn't even hit it in the air. So that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. I went the other. I think it was last Thursday. I went 38 on the front and 41 on the back. Definitely could have done a lot better on the back, but I feel like whenever I go 30 on the front and I do end up breaking 80, it's because I like did it like by like 1 stroke, because I always find a way to like just lose it down the stretch. I bogeyed I bogeyed the easiest hole in the course.
Yeah, that happens.
16.
Yeah,
happens.
I birdied it yesterday though, so.
Mm-hmm. Which whatever. I shot an 81 the other day. I don't even think I had any birdies. Like I just had like a bunch of pars, but.
That's like honestly having a bunch of pars like good in a round is a lot of fun, just because like you're just playing golf.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, it seems so easy. You're just like, all right, I'm making par to par to par.
Well, and you hit a green in regulation, and you just like put it to like a foot, and you're like, all right, that was easy.
But whatever. Yeah, it came down to it. If I made made a couple putts, like I would have shot under 80, but I didn't make a couple putts. So it happens. But we're getting there. The game's kind of coming together a little bit at this point. I mean, we've had plenty of time, so.
I need Roger Dunn or PGA Superstar to open so I can like actually finally get fitted for my new irons.
True.
Oh yeah, you need the new irons badly.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll actually make that much of a difference.
It probably will. You have to get used to them. Though.
Yes, you have to get used to them. So it took me a while, but I did add a club in distance, like maybe even a club and a half in distance.
The only problem is you don't have a driving range.
Yeah, I know. Well, I have a workaround that, but.
We can work around.
We go out there at like 7:30. I bought a bunch of used balls from like lostgolfballs.com, and they're all yellow, like they're Callaway Super Softs. And you could just go to Waveney, or you could go on to the 9-hole course at our club and just play when there's no one out there. Like just hit balls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
we'll see. We'll see about that. Hopefully I can get my new irons soon. Great episode. Honestly, we have some great guests coming up in like the next I think 3 weeks. Yeah. Next 3 weeks we have 3 guests. So very excited about that.
Yeah.
All of them I'm actually very excited about as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much to come, and we finally got golf back this week, so
finally got golf back. The momentum of this podcast is going through the roof.
Making money.
We're making you money. That's the business we're in.
Guaranteed money.
Guaranteed money. I'm ready. I'm ready to make some money this weekend. It's happening. I'm going in the green. I don't know how big, but it's happening.
Hey, anything in the green is money. Yeah. It's money.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see you next week. Hopefully, one of us hits on a future. Carry the momentum in to next week at what's it called?
Harbortown.
At Harbortown. So we'll see you next week on the Pin High Podcast.